Hello students, today in our session number 8 for the lesson magnetism and magnetic effects of electric current, today we are going to learn about some important and applications of magnetism. Students, you may recall that a study of magnetic properties helps us in understanding the constitution of matter and the interactions involved amongst its atom and the molecules. In this lesson, you will learn how modern quantum mechanical ideas enable us to explain the properties of magnetic materials. For that, today we are going to learn about the Oersted experiment, magnetic field around a straight current carrying conductor and circular loop. Then, with the help of the right hand thumb rule and the Maxwell's right hand cork rule, we can define or we can deduce the Biot-Savart law, and in this class we are going to learn the definition and the explanation about the Biot-Savart law. Finally, let's see the similarities and the differences between Coulomb and Biot-Savart law. Oersted experiment. In 1820, Oersted established the relation between electricity and magnetism. Oersted experiment was of fundamental importance to the development of physics in making the link between electrical and magnetic fields. The aim of this activity is to demonstrate what was involved in Oersted's discovery of electromagnetism. Oersted conducted an experiment to study the magnetic effect of electric current. In this experiment, he observed the deflection of a compass needle placed in close proximity of an electric wire carrying current. He observed that in the absence of current, the needle came to rest in Earth's north-south direction under the influence of Earth's magnetic field. In this experiment, you can see the compass shows no deflection when no current flow through the wire. Here this is the compass and this is the electric current setup, and it's an open circuit. Then when the needle was kept below the wire and current was passed from A to B, the north pole of the needle deflected towards the west, and on reversing the direction of the current from B to A, it deflected towards the east. Similarly, when the needle was kept above the wire and current was passed from A to B, the north pole of the needle deflected towards the east, and on reversing the direction of the current from B to A, it deflected towards the west. This indicates that the direction of magnetic field depends on the direction of current. See, in this picture you can see the deflection shown by a compass needle due to current flowing through the wire. That is a deflection towards the directions. And Oersted concluded that a current carrying wire produces a magnetic field around it. This leads to the development of the theory electromagnetism, which unifies the two branches in physics, namely electricity and magnetism. Now, let's see the magnetic field around a straight current carrying conductor and circular loop. First of all, the current carrying straight conductor. Suppose we keep a magnetic compass near a current carrying straight conductor, then the needle of the magnetic compass experiences a torque and deflect to align in the direction of the magnetic field at that point. Tracing out the direction shown by the magnetic compass, we can draw the magnetic field lines at a distance, and for a straight current carrying conductor, the nature of magnetic field is like concentric circles having their center at the axis of the conductor as shown in the figure. The direction of circular magnetic lines will be clockwise or anti-clockwise depending on the direction of the current in the conductor. This you can see in this picture. The direction of the magnetic field lines and the variation of strength of magnetic field and the distance r are shown here in this picture. See, if the strength or magnitude of the current is increased, then the density of the magnetic field will also increase. The strength of the magnetic field B decreases as the distance r of the conductor increases, which is shown in this picture. Actually, the direction of circular magnetic field lines will be clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay. Next one, circular coil carrying current. You can see a circular coil which carries a lot of current here. This is magnetic field lines and this is the current through that circular coil. Suppose we keep a magnetic compass near a current carrying circular conductor, then the needle of the magnetic compass experiences a torque and deflects to align the direction of the magnetic field at that point. We can notice that at the point A and B in the vicinity of the coil, the magnetic field lines are circular. The magnetic field lines are nearly parallel to each other near the center of the loop. Here you can see near the center of the loop they are parallel to each other. This indicates the field present near the center of the coil is almost uniform. The strength of the magnetic field is increased if either the current in the coil or the number of turns or both are increased. The polarity, that means the north pole or south pole, depends on the direction of current in the loop. The circular coil which carrying the current here. You can see from A to B, and this is the magnetic lines as I shown in this video, which is connected with the key rheostat and a battery, which is to give the electrical current here. Next one, right hand thumb rule. What do you mean by this right hand thumb rule? If we hold the current carrying conductor in our right hand, see in this picture you can see, if you hold the current carrying conductor in your right hand such that the thumb points in the direction of current flow and the finger encircling the wire points in the direction of the magnetic field lines produced. This is the right hand thumb rule. Then Maxwell's right hand corkscrew rule. Imagine a right-handed screw being turned so that it bores its way in the direction of the current in the wire. The direction of rotation gives the direction of the magnetic field. You can see in this picture, direction of rotation gives the direction of magnetic field. This shows the direction of magnetic field, and this is the direction of the current. If you nail the screw inside, then you can have that direction as a direction of current and the turning side as a direction of magnetic field, which is Maxwell's screw rule. Biot-Savart law. In 1819, Jean-Baptiste Biot and Felix Savart did a quantitative experiment on the force experienced by a magnet, which is kept near current carrying wire, like the experiments made by the Oersted. They attained a mathematical expression that gives the magnetic field at some point in space, that is, the current that produces the magnetic field. This is true for any shape of the conductor. Using this, they defined and they explained the law, which is a Biot-Savart law. Biot-Savart experimentally observed that the magnitude of magnetic field dB vector at a point P at a distance r from the small elemental length taken on a conductor in the and the current varies with respect to, which is directly proportional to the strength of the current I, which is directly proportional to the strength of the current I, and which is directly proportional to the magnitude of the length element, this. Then it is directly proportional to the sine of the angle, it is theta, between DL and R. This is the angle between the DL and R. Here you can see the angle produced. Then it is also inversely as the square of the distance between the point P and the length element DL. Now, according to the law, there is an expression. It shows the magnetic field dB is directly proportional to the current, the strength of the current, which is I, and it is directly proportional to the magnitude of the element length DL. Then it is directly proportional to the sine of the angle between DL and R. Then it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the point P and the length element DL. And from the first equation, which is proportional, that means dB is proportional to IDL by R square sin theta. If you use a K constant, then you can equate the equation dB is equal to K into IDL by R square into sin theta. Here K is referred to mu naught by 4 pi, the SI unit, and the K is equal to 1 in CGS units. And in vector notation, dB vector is equal to mu naught by 4 pi. That means we substitute the value of K here. Mu naught by 4 pi is substituted by the value of K. IDL vector into R cap divided by R square. This is due to the vector notation. If you take integral on both sides, we get integral of dB is equal to B vector, and mu naught I by 4 pi, it's apart from the integral, so we take out of the integral, then dl by r cap into r square. If you integral that, the vector dB is perpendicular to both IDL, pointing the direction of current flow, and the vector r cap directed from dl toward the point P. Now the equation 4 is used to compute the magnetic field only due to a small length dl on the conductor. Therefore, in these cases, first one, if the point P lies on the conductor, then theta is equal to 0 degree, because therefore the dB is 0, sine 0 is equal to 0, so the derivative of that magnetic field is equal to 0. If the point lies perpendicular to the conductor, then it is 90 degree, sine 90 degree is equal to 1, therefore dB is equal to IDL divided by r square into n cap. Here n is the unit vector which is perpendicular to both IDL and r vector. Next one, similarities between the Coulomb's law and Biot-Savart law. What are the similarities between? In electric and magnetic fields, these laws obey inverse square law, so they are long range fields. Second point, these Coulomb and Biot-Savart's law obey the principle of superposition and are linear with respect to source in magnitude. E is proportional to Q and B is proportional to IDL. These are the similarities between Coulomb's law and Biot-Savart. Now let's see what are the difference between Coulomb's law and Biot-Savart law. Same as the similarities, let us see in electric field and magnetic field. First one, the electric field produced by a scalar source, that is an electric charge Q. In magnetic field, which is produced by a vector source, that is current element IDL. And in Coulomb's law, the electric field is directed along the position vector joining the source and the point at which the field is calculated. While in Biot-Savart law, the magnetic field is directed perpendicular to the position vector R vector and the current element IDL vector. In Coulomb's law, the electric field does not depend on angle, but in the Biot-Savart law, the magnetic field depends on the angle between the position vector R cap and the current element IDL, which we saw in the picture I showed before. Thank you students, study well.